हो गया टाइटल ले रहा था अच्छा टाइटल ले रहा था अच्छा Welcome to day 2 of the program. We are today going to start with a beautifully inspiring session by Russi on the role of purpose in life, in which he will share about the importance of having a clear direction and a clear sense of where our life is headed, based on the illustrations of many leaders who he has had a chance to meet and write. But before we start, I would just like to share a bit more about Russi. Like Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi, Mr. R.D. Mathur, Mr. Vishwanath, and many others, Russi has been associated with the idea of MRA for many, many years. He's one of the pillars of this movement called Initiatives of Change, and has a very long and distinguished career also in connection with the Tatas. A little bit about the history of his career. He started his career in journalism at the age of 19. And in 1959, he became the manager of the first Indian book publishing house in London. And in 64, he founded with Rajmohan Gandhi the Himmat Weekly. Many of you may have remembered this weekly Himmat. So he founded this with Rajmohan Gandhi. And incidentally, Rajmohan Gandhi was also one of the founding trustees of this place. He edited this journal for a decade. And subsequently, his first book, The Creation of Wealth, which was all about the history of the Tatas and how the Tatas have contributed to the true wealth in this nation, is available in a revised edition. It was published to critical acclaim in 1981. Russi is the author of many books, and I'm very happy to say that his books are all here on display. You can browse through them, you can see them. And he has also written books like The Life of J.R.D. Tata, 92, Celebration of the Cells, which was about his fight with the dreaded disease of cancer. Instead of succumbing to this disease and feeling helpless and powerless, he not only became a powerful survivor of this disease through his faith in the universal creative intelligence of the universe, but went on to write a book called Celebrating the Cells, which is here, to inspire many, many other people having cancer to understand that there is hope, there is faith, that you can transcend even a disease like this if you have faith. When he met President Abdul Kalam recently, he was most inspired, the President was most inspired by what he had done and his books, and he said, can you please give me this book, Celebration for the Cells, because I want to give it to someone who has cancer. He was the director of the Tata's premier trust, the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, for many years, and was instrumental in giving help to many, many people in the country. And for 18 years, he held that role, and he is co-founder of the Center for the Advancement of Philanthropy since 1993. I've known Russi for over 25 years now, and when I started my career in the Tata Administrative Service as a young trainee in Jamshedpur, my first mentor and my first guide was Russi. When I wanted to write a book, Managing from the Heart, which is also available here, I said, Russi, you've written so many books, how do you write books? So he patiently said, okay, this is how you write a book, this is how you do, and so on. And at every critical stage in my life, whenever I had a dilemma or whenever I had a need for guidance, I have turned to my mentor and guide, Russi, and he has always been there to help, to guide, to support. So with these words, I would like to heartily welcome Russi to this morning session, and let's give him a big warm hand of welcome. And over to you, Russi.
I thought I should have been like Prabhat to cut the introduction a little, but never mind. Thank you, Arun, for your heartfelt words. That touched me. I was reading the other day a very fine quotation of the late Pope John Paul II. I'll read it out to you because that is the answer we are all seeking in our lives. Man has a great need to know whether it is worthwhile to be born, to live, to struggle, to suffer and to die, and whether it is worthwhile to commit oneself to some ideal superior to material and contingent interests, whether there is a why that justifies this earthly existence. I had a very good education in St. Xavier's. Intellectually, I was well furnished. Spiritually, I was dry, starved, searching. And this dryness went on. First, I was an atheist, then an agnostic, and then in Celebration of the Cells, you'll read how I found the faith. And if people are talking of God and you don't have a faith in God, do not worry about it. There's a time for everybody, a time for everything, and you will find it. The important element in finding a faith with God is to be a sincere searcher, number one, and number two, lead a clean life. To search and to lead a clean life. And whether you believe in God or not, you will believe in your conscience. There's something implanted in you by a higher power which tells you this is right and this is wrong. And when I met MRA, what I realized was that this higher power within you can not only correct you, it can direct you. And many of my books have come from an inner direction. It's not that I like to sit and scribble, but something leads you. And when you write a book, you've got to have a target and you've got to have a purpose. You must know who you're writing for and why you're writing it. And if your overall purpose is to make this a better world, then every action of yours is controlled by that action. And then you begin to realize that life is really worthwhile in whatever condition you are. Only once in this cancer book you'll read that I was so low I didn't want to live, because the effects of chemotherapy can be drastic. But I began to realize there are sources of strength in all of us. Faith being the first, purpose being the second, cultivating joy, laughter, humor, understanding. To understand life, you've got to understand what death is also. And all these deeper things are in that little blue book at the corner there called Celebration of the Cells. And perhaps for you the most important book may not be my sort of great industrial books, but this little book. If you want to know how to find a faith and a purpose. There's a difference between purpose and ambition. The difference between purpose and a career. Ashoka was ambitious before the Battle of Kalinga. When his heart was touched by the suffering of the people and of the animals, horses, elephants, etc., something happened to him. And what happened to him resulted in the spreading of Buddhism all over East Asia and even Southeast Asia. Now, had he only been ambitious, okay, he would have ruled the whole of India. But at the end of the day, he would have missed the basic purpose he was meant to give to the world. And sometimes your purpose is